Next up, we have E.G. Sebastian. E.G. Sebastian is a keynote speaker and certified DISC workshops facilitator who helps professionals and entrepreneurs tap into their communication superpowers on stage, online, and in leadership. Whether it's eliminating fear of public speaking, improving performance, teamwork, or building influence, his sessions empower audiences to show up, speak up, and stand out. Please welcome E.G. Sebastian.
Thank you, Josh. How many of you remember a moment in your life that changed the course of your life, a decisive moment with a show of hands? And maybe it happened multiple times, right? My first one happened when I was 9 years old. I got grounded again for some shenanigan I did as a... Thank you, Percy. As a young, high-energy kid, for me, it was really, really hard to be grounded. I loved to be outside, run around with the kids, the neighborhood kids, climb trees, get into fights, play with the neighborhood stray dogs, just regular kid stuff. But I was so blessed that my mom had a library of about 200 books in the room where I would get grounded. And trust me, I spent lots of time in that room. So many times I picked up books hoping for a picture in them, but no matter how many times I picked them up, there were no pictures. There was this one book that kept calling at me. It had a thick rim, hardcover, with golden letters, The Three Musketeers. But on the cover, there were 4 gentlemen with flamboyant hats and fancy swords. And I was thinking, 3 Musketeers, 4 guys on the cover, why? I asked that question in my head many times, but I never thought about reading the darn book. So many letters on those pages. I was 9. But on that fateful day, I started reading. And as I started reading, I got hooked. Words for me became like drugs. I could not get enough of them. I read one book after another. All of my mother's classics. Jules Verne, Alexandre Dumas, Irving Shaw, and many others. And in those books, I read about these amazing lives with great adventures, making a difference in the world, and I could not wait to grow up and live such a life myself. I don't know about you, but when I grew up, I was up for a rude awakening. At 23, I was working as a surgical assistant in Budapest, Hungary. I was making $100 a month. Even in Hungary, if I didn't get tips and if I didn't get lunch at work, I would have starved some days. And for a young man living in a dorm full of male dorm, guests not allowed, I felt like I was crawling through life in a dark tunnel with no light in sight. I knew I needed a shift. I needed a change. Something needed to change. And that change came from an event almost like this, an EST Werner Erhard event. Today is known as Landmark. Many famous actors and politicians went through it, and they found it life-changing as well. I went into the training as a desperate surgical assistant. I came out as a new person who saw potential in life. I had a smile on my face and I had hope. The very next day, with $5 in my pocket, no family around me, my parents lived in the United States by then, no support system, I quit my job. I quit my job and I decided to become either a millionaire or homeless, nothing in between. Millionaire or homeless, nothing in between. And in a short 8 months, I reached my goal. I became homeless. I lived at a church shelter for about a year. But every day I put on a suit and a tie and I got out there and I was looking for someone to tell me what's the secret to success. I wanted to make a difference. I did not want to work in an office and make peanuts. I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to travel. I wanted to matter. I also meditated every day, a gift that I picked up early in life, meditation. And I was thinking, what is a gift What is something that is in me? Because that's what I heard at the training, that many of us have gifts, untapped potentials, superpowers that are dormant. We take them for either dormant or we take them for granted. And then I realized, oh, I love languages. So I started showing up at places where I knew lots of foreigners were there. At that time, there was an influx of foreign investors because Hungary just became a democratic country. I lost friends in the war, when we killed our dictator in Romania, so it just brings up memories. So I heard at the training that we have untapped potential, and I started showing up at places where there were foreign investors. And I started working for $1 an hour. Compared to that, to the 40 cents I was making before, I was making double. Yay! I felt like I was on top of the world. And then one day this young lady walks up to me and she says, "How much do you charge for interpreting?" And I said, $1 an hour. And she said, "Whoa, I cannot tell that to my boss. How about $10? I'm like, okay. So from then on, I worked for $10 an hour. I became so busy, I worked from morning till night every day. And after a while, I charged $100 per assignments, making $300, $400, $500 each and every day. Compare that to the $100 that I was making per month. Wow. All because of some words I heard and unleashed an innate superpower that I had inside. The thing is, all of you have superpowers, innate abilities that you might not be tapping into. Maybe dormant, maybe partially dormant. Jim Rohn said, "Small hinges swing big doors." For me, the small hinge that was that training that I attended where I was told that I have untapped potential. Later in life was the birth of my daughter. And later the loss of one of my children. Where again, words were what helped me rebuild my life, the right words. Today I will tell you 5 mind hacks I picked up on the road, on my journey, that helped me become what I am today. A fulfilled, happy young man who lives in the mountains where I always wanted to live, married for 30 years, 3 beautiful kids, a dog and 3 cats. I include these 5 topics in lots of my DISC training that I've been presenting for the past 20 years around the world on 3 continents in front of thousands of, maybe hundreds, more than 1,000 probably, audiences. Ask powerful questions. The questions you ask yourself will determine the answers you get in life. If you ask yourself, how can I get a job? How can I pay my bills? You'll get a job and you'll pay your bills. If you ask yourself, how can I build $1 million business? Even if you fail short and you make $80,000 a year or $300,000, hello. So ask powerful questions. And now with ChatGPT, you can practice those questions. Those who are not scared of it. Monitor your habits. One night I ate a bowl of cereal and it was delicious. And the next night I ate again, it's just a bowl of cereal. 2-3 years later, I had 40 pounds extra on me. It's a micro habit. Catch your micro habits. Even better, instill your own micro habits. When I fell out of shape, when I wanted to get it back in shape, I would walk the first day just to the first mailbox and do 1 minute weightlifting. Could you do that? The next day I walked 2 mailboxes because I hate to walk. I didn't want to walk, but I can do 2 mailboxes. The next day, 3 mailboxes. And I got to a point where I was walking every day 20, 30 minutes, and I was working out 20, 30 minutes weightlifting also. So watch your habits, watch your micro habits, instill your own habits. Unmask your saboteurs. Identify the little voices in your head that say, I'm not good enough. I cannot do this. Identify them, interrupt the pattern, and take positive action. I have an assessment. If you contact me later, I can send you an assessment that will identify one of the 9 self-saboteurs that all of us have. Be aware of your self-talk. It's a little bit like the self-saboteurs, but the self-talk is always there. You can take control of it, and you can tell yourself that I can do this. Also, lots of the self-talk was instilled in you by your parents, by environment, by TV, by news. Scratch it. Choose your own self-talk. Practice self-hypnosis. It sounds fancy. It's very simple. I learned it from Russian Olympians. And my first one that I used was 20 times in the morning, 20 times at night. I said, I am calm in every moment. No matter what happens, I remain calm. I needed that because as an ADHD kid, I was losing my temper all the time. 20 times in the morning, 20 times at night. In about 2 months, I was a changed man. My brother didn't see me for many years, and he asked my kids once, he said, does your daddy lose his temper a lot? Does he yell a lot? And the kids looked at each other and they said, Daddy never yells. So that's the power of self-hypnosis. Very simple. The key is to say words that the brain can understand. Use advertising for your own benefit. The 5 tools that I shared with you, you can unleash them in yourself with one thing, your words. My challenge to you is to use your words wisely. Speak powerfully. And most importantly, speak with intention. Because words don't just describe your world, they create it. Thank you.